It is 8:08 here on Sports Engine Play as the sun begins to set in the western sky. And much like golden hour coming upon us, the season here on the USL2 nears its end. And what kind of magic lies in store in golden hour for the Charlottesville Blues? Good evening to you wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Sports Engine Play. My name is Marshall Emmert. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Camille Good here very shortly. But this is a game of profound significance tonight on the home team's season, the second to last penultimate home contest for Tommy DiNuzzo's Charlottesville Blues. They are coming off a little bit of a frustrating result last time out here against Christos. It ended late in a 2-2 draw. But they will be taking on one of the most dangerous opponents that they have seen all season long in Lionsbridge FC of Newport News, Virginia, a little ways down the road. Last time these two squads met, it ended in a 3-3 draw. Lionsbridge on a little bit of a poor run of form of late. They at one point found themselves in the lead of the Chesapeake Division in the 2025 season. But now they will face a very hungry, passionate Blues team looking to get a demonstrative result against them tonight. Thank you for choosing to spend your Wednesday evening with us here in Charlottesville. Hopefully, we will be in for a cracking contest. We have a moment here to set our starting lineups. First, with the visitors. Joshua Baker, Gabriel Rodriguez, Christian Hartley, Konstantinos Christou, Andrew Goldsworthy, Andrew Bennett, Lincoln Ulrich, Jason Parks, Henry Hanshaw, Mika Habel, and Samuel Hall. Notably for Lionsbridge, they will be without one of their top scorers, losing Evan Hanna last week against Virginia Beach United due to a red card at the end of the first half of that contest that ultimately resulted in a Lionsbridge loss and allowed Virginia Beach to take the top spot of the table. But the danger man very much is Samuel Hall up there. So he is one man to keep your eye on. So too, number 11 in Christian Hartley. And away we go here from Charlottesville High School as we set the home starting lineup for you. Ryan Gallagher in goal, a defense of J.C. Bailey, Luke Madden, Josh Yoder, and Parker Sloan. Three-man midfield of Marquez Nanasinkum, the captain Graham Dugald, and Samuel Vigilante. As an early chance here for Vigilante, a cross in towards Simmons. Nice back heel towards Dugald. That's cleared away at the last moment by the Lionsbridge defense. My goodness. What a spectacular moment here for the home side already. And you just saw, before I even got a chance to call their name, how dangerous they are. This three-man attacking trio of Nick Simmons, David Okori, and Jaden Say Bailey. Say Bailey in the number 7 shirt tonight for Charlottesville got his first goal of the season last time out against Christos. A dramatic go-ahead goal. Unfortunately, did not yield them 3 points due to a last-minute defensive implosion. But hey, them's the breaks, as they say. This is Samuel Hall. Bennett now. Goldsworthy. Early pressure here for the Blues. Lionsbridge will switch the play and see if that yields any results. Ulrich will knock it forward. Looking for their number 10, Gabriel Rodriguez. Headed over towards Parks. Nice controlled slow passing here for Lionsbridge to get it started here in the first 90 seconds. Already a really spectacular chance for Charlottesville that only just went awry. Here's Goldsworthy, the Englishman, Over to his left back, Hall. Pressure, no options going forward, and he knocks it long. Here's Pukes. Nice little 1-2. And here is Christou. Back to Hall. Christou. Through ball, trying to play in Hartley, and he runs out of room. Goal kick for the Blues. Lionsbridge boasts 3 of the top scorers in this league at the moment. Top scorer in Felix Ewald with 7 goals on the season. He is not playing this evening. Denis Krachenkov, who we will likely see a little bit later on, he is on the bench tonight. He has 5 goals in sole possession of second place, and Lionsbridge's number 10, Rodriguez, in possession of 4, tied for third in the league. Blues top scorer is Suleiman Abdul Mateen, who has 2 goals. They've really spread the scoring around throughout their roster. Abdul Mateen has 2, everyone else has 1, but it is close to 6 different players who have at least 1 goal. Knocked forward over to Say Bailey. Timely intervention here from Hall. Say Bailey has to backtrack, and he has some help. Here's Luke Madden. Switches the play looking for Sloan, but it's just a bit too high. And it'll be a throw in here for Lionsbridge. Lionsbridge led by, likely, if you were to start a conversation about it, the most successful coach in the Chesapeake division of USL2, Chris Wally. 8 years leading this club, all 8 of the club's existence, in fact. 76, 22, and 20 for his overall record. And now his men in the attacking third, and they are able to win themselves a corner. Oh, no, perhaps not. Last out on Lionsbridge, goal kick. But this Lionsbridge team has been Eastern Conference finalists for the last 2 years and made the USL2 final in 2023. It was a magnificent season for them. Trying to build out of the back. But the Lionsbridge defense now starting to buckle down a little bit. Trying forward is Parks, intercepted by Say Bailey. Here's Vigilante. Gives it back to Sloan, and now Sloan will lead the offense. Knocks it left. Here's Okori down the left wing. Say Bailey at the right. Simmons in a sort of attacking midfield false 9 type of role, looks like. And as I mentioned, Okori down the left. Throw in here. Okori back to his UVA teammate in Parker Sloan. Here's Dougal, the captain. Knocked down to Jaden Say Bailey, looking for the cross. Has his brother to back him up. Delivers to Dougal. Dougal will send it in looking for Simmons. Headed away well by what looked like Ulrich. Say Bailey intercepts that one. Has Dougal with him. Say Bailey, a little bit too much of a heavy touch. And they turn the ball over. Here's Christou for Lionsbridge. Hall. Nice switch. All the way down. Finds Mika Hobble for just a moment. They'll knock it back and start again. Going through the center this time. Here's Christou. Rodriguez. Hall. Through ball. It's a dangerous-looking ball here, as that is tracked back, and an excellent intervention from Josh Yoder is able to make sure the danger passes. And quick as a wink, here comes Parker Sloan for the Blues. David Okori. Dougal just about keeps it in, but backheels it to one of his opponents. And Lionsbridge in the ball again. Here's Hall. Big fullback, taking it through himself. Nice idea with the through ball, just a bit too high. Easy pickings for Ryan Gallagher in goal at the end of the day. And now the Blues will try. End-to-end stuff so far in the last 6 minutes of play to start this one off. Both teams very much playing like they need these 3 points, and both of them do. Lionsbridge looking to keep pace, might be seeing a playoff spot slip away from them if we don't get a good result here tonight. Marauding run there from Sam Vigilante. Wasn't sure where that pass was going, but his brand of football is making stuff happen, and that is exactly what he does. He's just going to charge in there, try to make a decent pass. Usually it finds its mark. High risk, high reward style of midfield play. If it works, it works. Here's Goldsworthy. Knocks that one straight out of play for a Charlottesville throw. Sloan will take it just beyond midfield. Mentioned that the Blues have really had a good number of goal scorers over the course of this season as the Lionsbridge defense looks to clear this one up. Under a little bit of pressure. Here's Hobble. Looking for Rodriguez. Be another Charlottesville throw. Mentioned Abdul Mateen is their top scorer on 2 goals, but Zomber Paul, Zach Martins, Sam Vigilante, Parker Sloan, Jaden Say Bailey, Graham Dugald, and David Okori have all found the net at least once for the Blues. And what a header there from Jay Say Bailey. Looking to get that one away from Pukes. Goldsworthy was looking long, trying to find Christian Hartley, but nothing doing. And good interplay from Say Bailey and Madden to knock that one out. Say Bailey the elder, that is. Yet more good defense from the Charlottesville right back. He's got Jaden, his brother, long. Looks like he's going to throw it in his direction. No, it'll be a little bit longer looking for Simmons, but the equally tall Samuel Hall is going to intervene there. And again, Lionsbridge on the ball once more. Now they're starting to grow into the game a little bit as we approach the 10-minute mark here in this one. Good tackle, though, from Jaden Say Bailey. Doesn't last for just a moment. Unfortunately, a little bit of a swing in the mix from Jason Perks, as that goes out for a throw. Say Bailey. Blues keeping the tempo up. The Tommy DiNuzzo way. Lionsbridge on the attack in the midfield. Here's Hobble. And a little bit of a defensive miscue, and it looked really, really good for Gabriel Rodriguez to try to tie his teammate. Unfortunately, finds just the side netting. Inches away from an early lead here for Lionsbridge. Just 10 seconds away from the 10-minute mark. How will the Blues respond? Yoder. Through ball looking for Jaden Say Bailey. It's a good one, but Hull read it all the way. But his clearance is bad. It finds the feet of Nick Simmons for just a moment. And now they're having to mop up a little bit. That was Baker who had just about the necessary intervention, but unfortunately he was last off. And it'll be a Charlottesville throw. Blues in equal measure applying the pressure to their opponents. Here's Sloan. Not a Syncom. Gives it back to him. They'll try to switch the play and have another go down the right flank, looks like. Yoder. Not a Syncom. They're going through the center and away through there. We'll see what Gallagher can do to come up with things. Now the avenue opening up on the left for Sloan. Okori. Back to Sloan. Lovely 1-2 from the Cavalier teammates as Sloan trying to get on the end of that. Good intervention from Ulrich to stall that one. 11 minutes gone, no score. 2 quality chances, 1 for each side 10 minutes into this match. Looked like Nick Simmons was about to bury one before the 60-second mark had even been reached in this one. But moments ago, Gabriel Rodriguez puncturing the Charlottesville defense, finding the side netting. That was a good clearance there from Hemshaw in goal. Another Englishman on this Lionsbridge side. Looks like his coach. Charlottesville Blues on with a throw. Sloan. Dougal, good footwork from the captain. Lays it off for a Corey, another throw. Last time these two teams met, it was a 3-3 draw at Town Bank Stadium in Newport News. A little bit of a rough throw here from Sloan, but under pressure. My goodness. Some spark plug kind of play from Vigilante. The referee didn't like it very much. So it'll be a goal kick, but the press is really high here for the Blues, trying to force Hempshaw to make a mistake. But that 3-3 draw, it was really end-to-end stuff. Hall, who you see in the number 87 shirt on your screen for Lionsbridge, was the first scorer. Somber Paul got his goal to equalize just before halftime. Luke Madden gave the Blues the lead in the 62nd minute of that one, before Evan Howard was able to equalize about 8 minutes later. Josh Yoder gave the Blues yet another lead, as a good intervention from Gallagher there will knock that one out to stall the Lionsbridge attack. But, and this should sound familiar if you've been watching Blues football all season, a defensive lapse in the final minute opened it up for Luke Ackerman Stanfield to equalize a third and final time for the home team to make sure that they were able to notch a point from the encounter. Corey gets that one away. Falls to Hall. Long ball nicely picked up there by Jaden Say Bailey. Gives it back to his brother. Hall, with his gargantuan frame for a fullback, is able to knock that one out and force the Blues to throw again. Almost another intervention from Hall, but he's got plenty of help from his teammates. Andrew Bennett was there on the assist to clear that one away. Nearing the 15-minute mark here of this one. No score. 2 quality chances each. In toward Dougal. Over to Okore. David Okore here for UVA. Some impressive footwork and the goal to match in the recent series of matches for the UVA man, as that's lifted straight at Hempshaw, who's looking to try to find the lanky frame of Nick Simmons. No dice. Both sides trying to find the chinks in each other's armor here. So far, so good. But it has been punch, counter punch, very much in a prize fight vein so far. And that's something that the Blues have really struggled with. They've defended well for, honestly, I would say, 4/5 of the game. And ultimately, they just end up losing focus for one reason or another. And they've let a few wins get away from them. As now we have ourselves a little bit of a stoppage of play. Discussion between the captain, Dougal, and a couple of the referees. And a terrific timing here in the stoppage. As we welcome my partner here in the broadcast booth, Camille Gutt. Good evening, my friend. You're coming off a tough result for the women, but we are in the midst of, as I mentioned a moment ago, a real kind of knockout prize fight, boxing match kind of situation here between these two teams.
Absolutely. And glad to be here after the women's game. Women Blues playing for a bit of pride earlier and weren't able to get the result against Virginia Atlantic in their home finale. But here, the Blues men, even though they don't have a mathematical chance at the playoffs, have another fantastic opportunity to cause some damage for Lionsbridge, which they've already done, as I'm sure you mentioned in the previous meeting. And as of now, it seems like it's been pretty even from my vantage point on the ground, now just coming up here.
Yeah, a chance to play spoiler here for the Blues, as already tempers flaring, matching the heat that has been plaguing the Charlottesville skies all week long. And a free kick here There was really, I was Parker Sloan getting in the referee's face before this free kick was awarded. He seemed like he really thought that challenge was clean. But it'll be a free kick here for Lionsbridge. Standing over it is the midfielder Andrew Bennett, alongside Joshua Baker. Knocked toward the corner. Here's Christou, defended by Say Bailey. Tries to find the cross. Good block by Jay, and it will be a goal kick. Goal kick, Charlottesville, apparently. Well, you might have heard the fans, the traveling contingent, that is, making their feelings known towards the refereeing crew. Blues on the attack. Here's Vigilante. Good footwork from him. Tried to find a way through. It was a little crowded, but Simmons there to help him out. He is so agile for a man his size, and he's brought down. Little bit of unnecessary roughness there from what looked like Andrew Bennett. And another stoppage here, discussion. And the referees don't really look like they're doing a terrific job at standing by their decisions. But anyway, Lionsbridge throw for now. Hopefully we can just play on. But there it is. Hall chucks it long. Trying to run on it was Hartley. Good intervention there from Yoder. Into a little bit of space now, but he knocks it back for Sloan. Marquez Nanasinka. Over to Luke Madden. J.C. Bailey now. Knocked long looking for Simmons. It was a bit low and needed a little bit more power to find him. Another turnover. Now a long through ball here from Hall. Excellent job creating a chance, but he faces an equally hulking defender in Luke Madden. It bounces for Konstantinos Christou. Here's Perks. Jason Perks on the ball. Knocks it back for Christou. Has Hall with him. Gives it to him there. Pressure on, still no way through. Now they'll try for it. That's a nice intervention there from Madden, as threatening on it was Rodriguez. Touch a little heavy from Jaden Say Bailey. Keeps his feet, though. Goes through the center. Good pass here to Vigilante under pressure. Now Dugald. Simmons and Akori running towards the box. Forces Hempshaw off his line, and he makes a good save.
Say Bailey there, getting that counterattack started, earns the start after, of course, scoring that goal, which the Blues thought was the winner against Christos the other night. Eventually was a late goal for the 2-2 draw, but good for Say Bailey to earn the start, and there's just been simply a lot of competition for minutes, especially in midfield and attack recently, with many players stepping up. Simmons as well in the past couple of games drawing starts, and they're really challenging other out there. It's been really healthy competition, and maybe, a few late collapses in terms of the results, but the performances have been much more consistent.
Encouraging signs to be sure, but something's got to pay dividends at some point. As advantage played after Simmons goes down. Here's Vigilante. Defended by Hall. Tried to send that somewhere, but all he did was send that into three Lionsbridge pairs of feet. Knocked in and collected by Hempshaw. 20 minutes gone. Can really only say with authority that there's been about one quality chance each for both of these sides. Both of them coming, interestingly enough, in the first 15 minutes here. Nick Simmons almost looked like he had one. He failed to get a boot to it, but this is looking good here for Habel. Cross long looking for Perks, but it didn't quite have the angle for the back post, and Gallagher collects it easily. But Rodriguez was the one who got the chance for Lionsbridge, and a well-played through ball. Did manage to get his foot to it, directed it towards goal, but it found the side netting. And this is going to be a water break call. Don't often see these for the men, but on account of the temperature, this is a very, very, very important health safety tip and health safety allowance to make.
Absolutely, and it was even worse for the woman earlier who had 2 water breaks in each half as the sun was still out in full force. But for Lionsbridge, as I'm sure you mentioned, partner, losing to Virginia Beach in their most recent match, and now their season is a bit up in the air. Obviously can still certainly fight for that second spot, which would earn them that play-in match. But first place now 8 points off of it with a handful of games to go. And, although they've scored the most goals in this division by a good margin, they have suffered some really poor form as of late, including that first matchup against the Blues. And the Blues are looking to play spoiler here. And with that form, all bets are off.
Yeah, it was a crazy match. Lionsbridge and Virginia Beach. Lionsbridge able to get the early lead courtesy of Hobble. But Evan Howard, who was sent off at the end of that first half, and when he was forced to take a seat, thanks to the second yellow, that really just put a wrench in Chris Wally's tactics and his squad's ability to not only defend, but also to be threatening in the attacking third. And down to 10, a feeling that the Blues know all too well, as this is how Virginia Beach was able to get back into the game against Charlottesville. Thomas Campbell and the ever-dangerous Sam Murphy, who was very strong in that draw with Virginia Beach, it was a defeat, wasn't it? Putting Virginia Beach up 2-1 in the second half and nabbing a huge 3 points to put them up in first place, just over the ascendant Northern Virginia United. Now, after the water break, away we go. 25 minutes gone here in this one. No score. Blues will justifiably be patting themselves on the back for an excellent defensive performance so far, limiting, as you said, Camille, one of the best goal-scoring sides in this division. 2 no goals so far. And strike that the best, as we got a assist from CFD on Hempshaw's goal kick. Seems like it worked, actually. Still Lionsbridge possession, however. Under pressure. Hartley trying to fight his way through. Say Bailey equal to it. Staying with it and going down a great defensive stand from the right back. Gallagher ready to rumble. Blues turn to attack.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, the atmosphere here tonight is fantastic, paired with all the presence of the first responders, as it is a celebration of them tonight, and the contingent of the Lionsbridge fans. They've come out in droves tonight, and it's really making this one. It's clear that this match, means a lot to both sides, and especially Lionsbridge, who is, of course, chasing one of those top spots.
Yeah, that first match, I think Charlottesville will likely feel like that skirted away from them a little bit. Could have easily gotten 3 points in that one, and the season could have been different. Now a little bit of revenge on the table here for them to try to spoil Lionsbridge's season. Vigilante trying to make his way through, staying with it here, and is able to deliver an on-target pass to Simmons. Tries toward the middle, looking for, say, Bailey. But that fizzles out just as quickly as it began. Long looking for Hartley. Yoder. Well, all right. It shows you what I know about being a referee, but That looked to me like a clean header, but it will be free kick Lionsbridge. Taken quickly. Here's Jason Perks. Some good step overs from him. Good boost of speed, trying to make his way around, say, Bailey, and that was clean. Oh, perhaps not. Yeah, I thought for a moment there that was not going to go, say, Bailey's way. He had a hand on Perks' right shoulder as he was trying to make his way through, and the arm was just a bit too high for that to be a clean tackle. Perks a little shaken up after that, not unfairly so. It was a sizable impact, but he's okay.
Actually, I think that was a fair challenge because the Blues will retain possession. He just got shaken up a little bit.
Two right you are. Good spot. Madden will be the one to take the free kick.
But it seems like in the time I've seen him, say Bailey has really been well positioned on this right-hand side, dealing with many of these attacks. And at the moment, Lionsbridge doesn't seem to be, penetrating this back line too consistently.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to find a way through. They haven't been able to score in the ways that they are used to scoring. They're going to have to try to find something really creative. This is a good Blues defense, despite their reputation for the defensive lapses late in the game. They can just find a way to keep the back line ironclad. They will have done their job as spoiler if Lionsbridge walks out of here with just a point. Approaching the half-hour mark. Still no score here in this one. Goldsworthing has a pass neatly intercepted by Dougal. Not a sync-up. Good cutback. Long looking for a Corey. It's a bit far. Can he track it down? Yes, he can. Defended here by Ulrich. A Corey sends it in and too far ahead for Simmons, but it bounces friendly here for J.C. Bailey. Blues still in control. Vigilante. Throw ball finds his right back. Say Bailey taking his time. Over to Vigilante. In towards Jaden Say Bailey. Lovely cutback from Jaden Say Bailey. Can he find the cut? Nope. Dougal tried to get a foot to it, and he shoots it straight out. Little vulnerability down that left flank for Lionsbridge. Some neat footwork from Jaden Say Bailey, putting one of the better defenders in the league in Sam Hall on notice.
Yeah, and you've got this brotherly battery ram down this near hand right side with the two Say Baileys and Jaden. After scoring that goal, he's looked really energetic on this wing. But I'm also interested to see now. I feel like this has been one of the most quality midfields as that ball is sent wide now for Okori. We'll pick back up after this break.
Okori here, making his way into the box. This is the lovely footwork. It's a good shot, but it is well read and blocked. Mika Hobble getting his 2 feet to that one, and it will be a build out of the back for Hempshaw. But I think you're right. This is probably the ideal midfield combination for Charlottesville.
Yeah, because Vigilante...
What a tackle there from Madden. Absolutely. I hate to interrupt you.
Vigilante has been a bit of a late bloomer in the sense that he's gotten his starts later on this season, especially in the past handful of games. And with Dougal being out on that trial, that kind of compounded. And now that Dougal is back, we really get to see two of the most dynamic midfielders on this team and see how they can...
Neat ball in. An attempt was made. It was a good one. Did force a full intervention from Gallagher. That was Jason Perks, who made an excellent left-footed shot towards his far post. Hobble whistled for that one, and it looks like we're going to see a card there. That was... Oh, no. Keeps his hand in his pocket. Just unsportsmanlike conduct, really, from Hobble. Just kicking that one back after the whistle was blown. Here's Madden. Over to Yoder. Parker Sloan. Good patient build-up play here from the Blues. And just didn't really go the way I wanted it to for Sloan, and that elicits a clap from the traveling Lionsbridge fans. Baker is going to come back to take this. Or no, it'll be Ulrich.
Yeah, and although there were the 6 goals in the previous matchup, it was a scrappy game by all means. All 3 of Charlottesville's goals came on set pieces. The final scrum and final play of the game basically was on that delightful taken free kick by Lionsbridge. So in open play, boiling over into this game, there haven't been too many clear-cut moments that these teams have taken advantage of.
At least not yet. Lots of football left to be played. Madden. Good header here by Simmons. Vigilante is able to mop that one up, but it was read well by the Lionsbridge midfield. And they're able to absorb yet another chance. Hempshaw looks long. Madden answers. Say Bailey trying to find his way around. Just about does and draws a foul. Yet more lovely footwork from the agile younger Say Bailey. Marquez Nonasincom will stand over the free kick. Vigilante will come over and lend him a hand. We'll see what they do with this. This is, you have most of your big heads and high jumpers on the wall here.
Well, it was Madden and Yoder who each got themselves a goal last time out against this side.
Are they vulnerable from set pieces? Vigilante. Up with the hands. And we get a little bit of a scuffle there. Up with the hands, in comes the boot. And Hempshaw was absolutely clattered. He makes a really tough intervention there to hang on to the ball. Sloan dove in there just in a desperate attempt to try to get his foot to the ball. But that is a tough pair of hands that Hempshaw has. Christou. Hobble. Bad pass, intercepted by Vigilante. Lifted in towards the box. Boy, so much of the Lionsbridge attack, or rather the defense, is hinging on the height advantage that they have against select matchups. Hall on Jaden Say Bailey does seem to be a little lopsided, and they have 2 very tall midfielders in Christou and Bennett, who have been able to mop up most of the passes that have come their way through the center here, and that's a really bad pass from Madden. That gets knocked out, and actually, I have to retract my earlier statement getting an assist from the fire department. That was not the fire truck horn. It was, in fact, 2 Lionsbridge fans with vuvuzelas just below us in the press box here, which is an absolutely inspired fan tradition. So, tip of the cap to them.
Absolutely. One of the most well-supported sides in all of USL2. And they've been bringing it all night with the energy in this, of course, really hot weather that's taking its effect.
Jaden and Jay trying to get a little bit of an interplay going. They'll just win themselves a quick free kick. Taken very quickly by Simmons, just a little too heavy to find Vigilante, but it does result in a corner as the clearance from Goldsworthy was a bit untidy. So here we go, another set-piece opportunity here for the Blues. Vigilante to take.
And Hempshaw was really brave on that free kick. He's going to have to continue that. Seems to have potentially taken lessons from that previous matchup.
Back post for Yoder. Couldn't quite corral it. It ping-pongs around a little bit. Perks was trying to track that one down. Instead, it falls to Akori, who knocks it back to Gallagher, and a gradual reset commences. 36 minutes gone, no score. Some recent set-piece chances here for the Blues have put the pressure on the visitors, who, aside from the one chance from Gabriel Rodriguez, have not really looked all that threatening in attack. And the Perks chance as well on the weak foot. Actually, I suppose he's a left winger. That definitely means his left foot is not his weak foot. Good intervention from Gallagher. And speak of the devil, there is Perks trying to cause some problems and succeeding. Here's Mika Hobble. Cross in towards Rodriguez. Well read by Madden. It goes out to Say Bailey. He takes a look behind him to see how much space he has, and unfortunately took a little bit too much time. That's a good pass, though, looking for Vigilante, but well read by Hall. Back into the midfield, and throwing his body at it was Say Bailey. Up and forward with it, Simmons, but that's well read by Hartley, tracking back from attack. And Akori couldn't quite find his footing to try to make that one dangerous. Little bit of a basketball game breaking out here in the dying minutes of this first half. 38 minutes gone. No score. Lionsbridge and Charlottesville. Gabriel Rodriguez. Joint third in the Chesapeake Division here in USL2 with 4 goals on the season. Top 2 scorers not playing for Lionsbridge right now. Felix Ewell not on the bench. And Krichenkov is on the bench, not playing right now. Another solid defensive stand from Charlottesville. Boy, the brother-brother chemistry is working wonders for the Blues right now down that right flank. Bad pass from Jay, though, as if on cue, and it'll be a throw-in here for Lionsbridge. Hall. Long throw towards the box. And, well, won by Rodriguez, but unfortunately there was no one to receive the excellent cross, and the Blues into some space. Sloan trucking down the left wing, not a Sincom on the ball. He waited a really long time to get rid of it, and under pressure he turns it away. Here's Perks. Through ball looking for Hobble. Or, excuse me, that was Bennett getting on the other end of that. This is good from Lionsbridge, but an even better tackle from Luke Madden will force the corner.
Well, and just a completely avoidable sequence of play there from the Blues. And this is one of those trying moments of this match. Unfortunately, a theme has been giving up goals late in halves. They need to keep their wits about them and continue to stay focused to not let these bad moments put them in holes when they've had really solid performances, including in these first 40 minutes.
My, what a boost the Vuvuzela adds to the atmosphere tonight. Lights on, sun down, here we go. Corner coming for Lionsbridge. Going towards the back post, it finds Samuel Hall. He'll knock it back in, but in a goal line clearance, 2 in a row, only as far as crease 2. Great save, Gallagher. And spinning and clearing it away is Samuel Vigilante. A heroic stand on defense for the Blues. And that has really got the Charlottesville faithful stomping their feet in response to the Vuvuzelas. Blues trying to fight their way out of their own third. They do. Say Bailey under pressure. Trotting and not taking the space. He'll play it back and let his team's shape set up a little bit. Sloan, not a Sincom. And just about hangs on to the ball, but a bad challenge will end up turning the ball over. Free kick here in the last 4 minutes of regulation here in the first half.
Very positive moments with those goal line clearances. Once again, the Blues making it a bit difficult for themselves, but still not able to use that momentum going forward. And another turnover leads to this, another chance of solid pressure from Lionsbridge. And they're under it once again.
Now the heat is really playing a factor here for both sides naturally, as Bennett's going to send this one in towards the box. Promising, looking for Ulrich. Madden sends it clear. It's back in by Perks. And this is looking good. An ambitious bicycle attempt on... Didn't really hit any of the ball. It hit the body of Luke Madden. And we're looking around to see who actually that was who made the attempt, reading everybody's numbers. Training staff's going to come out and take a look. It was a speculative effort. The swing of the leg was nowhere near it. And he's going to step off and get looked at. I was thinking that might turn into a full hydration break. Not quite. But it was a good ping in from Jason Perks. Well read by Madden. And it was Lincoln Ulrich who went up for that bicycle kick. And he clattered to the ground. And his feet struck what I'm sure is the absolutely rock-hard shoulder of Luke Madden. He's running of his own power, though, and he will re-enter the match. And away we go. Madden. Through ball looking for Simmons, running onto it, and getting there is the Charlottesville forward. Stops to get a little bit of support. Good footwork here from the big man. Gives it off to Vigilante. Over to Jaden Say-Bailey. Say-Bailey back to Vigilante. Vigilante now with a chance to charge. Perks. Some really clever defensive footwork from him. And add to that the juggling. But Madden has powered up and sent his way forward. They're throwing everything into this attack. David Okori working on Ulrich at the top of the box. Okori with an attempt. But it was well blocked by Ulrich, who, after getting beaten, makes just about an inch-perfect tackle to redirect that shot. Say-Bailey. Over to Simmons. Flag stays down. Nick Simmons on the ball. Has men in the box. Can he find the cross? Tries to step over. It's not a bad cross, but just a bit too high. And Okori unable to get his hand onto that.
Yeah, I believe one of the center backs keeping Simmons on there just barely, but these two teams trading blows as the final seconds tick off of the first half before we get into stoppage time. Blues looking to regain some of that momentum.
There is the 45-minute mark. We'll wait for the fourth official's signal. And this half has really delivered. Hasn't been the cleanest half of football, it must be said. But some quality chances, especially here in the last 5 to 10 minutes of action. Sloan. Under pressure from Hobble. Gives to Vigilante. Knocked on only just by Dougal. Okori charging forward. Has men with him. Cross in towards the middle of the box. Finds no one. Say-Bailey, though, will keep it in. And just about keep it alive for Charlottesville. Dougal. Say-Bailey. Back to Madden. Knocked in Say-Bailey's direction, but it was just too quick and too hard for anyone to get a substantial degree of control onto it.
Well, there were a couple options to choose from there on that break with Say-Bailey crashing the far post, another player in the center of the box, but unfortunately that delivery was behind everyone and it completely stalled out. What a fantastic opportunity, though, to get that lead before this half ends.
Fourth official has not put up a stoppage time number on his board yet. Good sign for the Blues. Just about enough to pry that one out of Nick Simmons' hands, courtesy of Andrew Bennett. Bennett intervening again That is goal kick Lionsbridge, despite a protest from the midfielder Vigilante. And yeah, this half looks like it's going to be going on for a little while yet. Hemshaw will set up. Maybe time for one more attempt at goal before the interval comes. Knocked long. Forward, Simmons. Oh, and he takes one to the head.
Challenge.
That's a really, really painful hit from Simmons.
Really high foot. I mean, mistimed, but at the same time, just not a position. The height of that tackle definitely has to warrant some sort of card.
And no card comes out of the referee's pocket.
Yeah, it's just a discussion, I guess, for what I believe is the captain there.
Maybe no malicious intent. Again, just grabbing at straws here in terms of the referee's decision. Bleachers shake. Not a Syncom's delivery. It's not bad. Finding the foot of a Corey trying to find the angle. Lays off. Cross comes in. Yoder going up with it. Good intervention, Hemshaw. And the whistle will go, and that brings this first half to an end. And, Camille, you have to say the Blues were the better team towards the end, but, and rather throughout the half, to be honest with you, but they're going to be a little gutted that they let so many chances get away from them despite the good, solid defensive play from their opponents.
Yeah, there have been many great phases of play, especially forcing turnovers high up the pitch against Lionsbridge. But the Blues have been largely competitive in this match, and as you said, dare we say, the better team in most phases. Each team getting a couple of opportunities that were clear. Obviously, Lionsbridge with the couple of shots that forced that goal line clearance. But the Blues seem to have, taken notes from that first matchup and tactically are really putting a lot of pressure on Lionsbridge.
Yeah, we will see if the strategy that Tommy DiNuzzo has deployed will pay dividends, or will one of the best, if not the best offensive team in the division grow into the game and find its way through. Time will tell. We'll take a break. You should too. Get yourself a snack, stretch your legs a little bit, and we will see you at the end of the interval. Don't go anywhere here on Sports Engine Play. More USL2 action coming your way next. Well, quality chances aplenty for both sides in the first half of this one, but as you can no doubt see by the scoreboard in the top left corner of your screen, nothing to decide it yet. 45 minutes yet to play. Lionsbridge FC has everything to lose here at Charlottesville High School, and it'll be up to the Blues to play a little bit of spoiler and see if they can't come away with 3 points. Honestly, 1 point would be a good enough result for them tonight. 1 point is going to pretty much take Lionsbridge out of contention. But we have to figure out how this one resolves. What kind of quality do these men have left? What kind of energy? What kind of creativity? What kind of magic? We'll know soon enough. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, 0-0 our score, Charlottesville and Lionsbridge out of Newport News. The visitors in the blue and black, mirroring Inter Milan, if you're familiar with Serie A and world football. Blues in white, with the blue sleeves, navy blue sleeves, that is. Saw some good chances, as mentioned in the open, but nothing that resulted in either of these keepers being beaten. Camille, you just get the feeling that there is one more twist left in this tale.
Have to agree with you, partner. Seems like there is a goal still left in this match. The chances are coming. The Blues especially are putting pressure in high areas. It's just about those final passes and connecting for some real dangerous opportunities. But outside of that, their tempo and pressure out of possession has been really good to watch.
Excellent. And we were talking off air just as the second half began. One of the things that you and I both are hoping that they do just for the sake of the game, and it's honestly something Lionsbridge could improve upon as well, as this is lifted in the direction of Hobble. I'll put a pause on that thought for just a moment as Hobble's going to cross it in, and that was looking threatening from Christian Hartley, but no dice. He's given it right back by the Blues defense. A defensive implosion, but it doesn't result in a goal yet. Rodriguez gives it to Hobble, and he looks to try to take a number or two off the scoreboard, and it will be a goal kick. Down in front of goal is Josh Baker, the captain for Lionsbridge. As the referee is going to come over and take a look at him, he's going to motion for the training staff to come over. Seems like he took a bit of a hit. While we're stopped, I'll carry on with my pontification that space does seem to be not in a plenty for either team. That you and I both noticed that there was no particular player that took space that was offered to him. It was always just sort of back passing and trying to set up the shape rather than trying to create something by going forward.
Absolutely. And the Blues have had so many of those opportunities because of where they've been able to win the ball back, and either certain players have held onto the ball for too long, or the passes have been, not connecting behind the runs, and the runs themselves have not been coordinated enough to kind of split this back line and actually cause any type of opportunity.
Now, we are simply trying to diagnose a draw here at this point. I want to quantify it that we are in air conditioning up here in the press box, and neither of us are excellent enough football players to turn this match around were we to be playing. So take what we say with a grain of salt. But by that same token, that is something that could turn this match around if given the opportunity. That's a lovely looking ball there from Luke Madden, but unfortunately Jaden Bailey is offside. And we do have a substitution to report, as entering the game is the aforementioned dangerous Denis Krichenkov, second place in all of the Chesapeake Division with 5 goals to his name so far this season. He has taken his position up front, number 15. Knocked forward here. This is Vigilante. Neat little touch over the top of Bennett, the midfielder. Simmons knocking that one down towards, say, Bailey. Good intervention there from Goldsworthy. And it was clean enough to earn Lincoln Ulrich a throw. Yeah, Khrushchenkov, I think, is really going to change the compunction of this game. He has entered in favor of what looks to be... I'm just checking my team sheet here. It looks to be Christou who has exited. If you are playing along at home.
He's going to be such a handful to deal with, especially physically. But this center back duo of Yoder and Madden, especially Madden, able to step up with timely interventions, and just as well, you could see that pace making that run in.
Down the left wing, say Bailey having to defend. It's a shot coming in with pace from Christian Hartley, but a very, very good stop from Ryan Gallagher. And actually, I did misspoke. It was Perks who exited, as it would seem that Christos remains on the pitch. And we saw Jason Perks had an excellent attempt at goal about midway through the first half. Simmons delivers to say Bailey, back to Simmons, and into a little bit of pace. Simmons takes a shot. Blocked there by Christou. Only as far as Vigilante.
Yeah, he had a lot of time and space to take that shot. Not sure if he was caught in two minds or at the same time also baiting those defenders, but eventually able to be blocked.
Luke Ackerman Stanfield has also entered the game for Lionsbridge, the man who was able to get the last-minute equalizer against the Blues last time out. As this is a charging effort by Hartley that was well closed down by Madden.
Yeah, it was a really tight run, and it will be offside, so a goal kick for the Blues.
So now we're able to get those clarifications on the subs for you. Khrushchenkov has entered for Perks. And Ackerman Stanfield goes into the midfield. For what I thought was Christou, or excuse me, for Josh Baker. Baker is not on the pitch anymore. As this is a nice delivery once again in for Hartley. Hartley is closed down quickly. Now going round the outside is Bennett. Finds Hartley. Hartley goes in with the cross. Well read, though, by Parker Sloan. Jaden Say Bailey corrals. 50 minutes gone. Still no score. Lovely footwork from Say Bailey, and he was held. Throw in here for the Blues as some hoots and cheers from the Charlottesville section just below us in the press box. Sloan was under the impression that he had a few extra yards. Now he'll send it long, looking for Vigilante. He's running after it. Looks up for it. And with a little bit of help, it's thrown in by Say Bailey. Vigilante, 2-on-1, does have Say Bailey with him. Instead, he'll take it himself and make a terrific cutback. Trying to find the cross. Still with it. Tackle made. And we'll see which way that went. That looked to be a corner here for the Blues. And indeed, they're setting up for one. Oh, no. Instead, a free kick at the edge of the box. That may prove to be a very costly foul.
Well, and Vigilante known for his prowess on these free kicks. Not probably a good enough angle for him to take it himself, but can, maybe have the goalkeeper guessing, and he's known for his good deliveries regardless.
He has Luke Madden to look out for, who is now sporting a white headband around his head to make him easier to spot in the crowd, as if he needed help with that. Vigilante will fire it in. Onto the head of Sloan. Down he goes. It's cleared away by the Lionsbridge back line. Only as far as Jaden Say Bailey. 1-on-2. He takes him on bravely. Knocks it back towards David Okori, who has switched sides. Say Bailey finds his way around his man. Still with it, Say Bailey, as speculative effort goes wide. Goal kick. As Hempshaw will likely be thinking he got a little bit bailed out of trouble there. Once again, another excellent defensive stand. Krachenkov tries to head that one on. Yoder under pressure. Good back heel. Over to Madden. He'll give it back to his goalkeeper. And that is an imposing twosome in the person of Krachenkov and Rodriguez up front here for Lionsbridge. Hobble. Back to Nanasinkham, pass under pressure, trying to reach Sloan. Does just about with an excellent tackle. Say Bailey, cutting inside. Dugalt with him. Simmons just a little further ahead. Excellent back heel from Hobble. Back it goes to Okori. Okori with a shot just high.
Well, a little bit better at taking that space. He tried to slip in his teammate into the box and got deflected out back to Okori. Also had two options on the left, though, so maybe a bit of an improvement, but still definitely could have been cleaner there as far as involving other teammates.
Which is marveling at the controlled touch of Krachenkov. As that free kick taken quickly, responded fast by Luke Madden. He says, absolutely not. Here's Say Bailey. Marquez Nanasinkham. Back to Madden. Two center backs for Charlottesville, both playing with fire in their veins. Looping ball over to Dugald. One touch goes a little awry, looking for Say Bailey. Dugald under pressure again. Hobble. Knocks it forward, looking for Krachenkov. Well read by Yoder. Yoder with a little bit of a difficult cutback. Krachenkov is unable to find his way around. He beat Yoder fair and square, and for the first time, 56 minutes in, we are going to see a yellow card. And I got to be honest, Yoder is lucky to get away with a yellow.
Yeah, really harsh tackle there, and like you said, could have gone honestly either way from the referee's perspective. But he's also been a bit lenient, as we saw with that tackle by Baker in the first half with that high foot, which went uncarded. So being a little bit lenient.
Yes, but the cutback absolutely magnificent from Krachenkov. Nothing to take away from his marvelous individual effort. Great control, silky smooth touch. You can see why he's one of the best goal scorers in the division.
And these Lionsbridge supporters really making it feel like a home game.
And the Vuvuzelas storming, yes indeed. Suspense building for the free kick. Knocked in by Ackerman. Stanfield gets by the legs of Nanasinkham. Good intervention from the Blues, and another card comes out.
I think this one will be on Krachenkov.
Two thrown now on two different members of the Blues. Or excuse me, on Lionsbridge, rather. Looked to be Hartley, and seemed like it might have been Christou.
I don't know. It might have been just for dissent, for blowing the whistle after Rodriguez went for that, once again, an ambitious kind of kick overhead.
Chris Walde wants clarification on the Lionsbridge sideline and is greeted with a card himself.
Well, wanted to get an explanation, shook the referee's hand, but still finds himself carded, and this is an opportunity for the Blues to take advantage of, with tensions really flaring at the moment.
Referee losing control just a little bit, it seems.
Yeah, that as well.
Here's Sloan. On a marauding run. Now he's trying to take a little bit of space. Say Bailey charging inside. Very well read there by Andrew Bennett. Hobble. Looks long for Krachenkov. Header needed to be perfect from Madden, and it was. Approaching the 60-minute mark. And oh my goodness, it's getting hot in here. Vigilante. Not a Syncom. Gallagher. Trying to lure the Lionsbridge line a little further forward. Nothing doing. Here's Christo. Good touch from the young Greek. Goldsworthy gives it back to his keeper and has it returned to him. Ulrich. Hobble. Well read and intercepted by Vigilante. Back to Yoder. Knocked forward to Simmons, and you see can see what he was trying to do there. And now some substitutions getting prepped on the Charlottesville sideline. But trying to answer a little bit of strength with strength. You saw Krachenkov enter. On the Charlottesville line, it is the big Hungarian Zombra Paul. Already has a goal under his belt against this Lionsbridge side. And entering alongside him looks to be a man wearing number 4 shirt who is not on the team sheet at the moment. Krachenkov trying to find his way forward. Down goes Yoder. Foul is awarded, no card. Sloan getting ready to rock, and it is getting really rowdy in the OA section below us. Krachenkov is really annoyed that Yoder wasn't sent off for that last challenge. And a good spot from my partner. I had Sandor Preda down wearing number 5 instead of 4. That is why I wasn't able to recognize him immediately. So Preda and Paul getting ready to enter for the Blues. And just a series of hands getting thrown in various directions. Sloan's going to take it. We'll see if they'll wait to make the substitution here. They will not, as this is delivered in towards Simmons. Difficult touch for the big man. Succeeds just about, thanks to the help of Marquez Nanasinkom. And the locomotive charging forward. Okori. Cross. It's beautiful. Looking for Vigilante. Saved. A last-ditch effort. Just one hand getting in front of it for Harry Hempshaw. Keeps his team in it. A huge, excellent effort from the man who loves to make something happen. I think I've decided I'm going to call him the Vegas Magician, because he's just going to make a big splashy play out of nowhere, and you don't really know what's going to happen next. Samuel Vigilante coming inches away from putting his team ahead, but it's a corner instead. Knocked towards the far post. Well read. Hempshaw's speculative attempt from Say Bailey. It's not a most authoritative save from Hempshaw, but the referees will stop that before that gets a little too crazy. But it was a terrific cross, Camille, from Okori to find Vigilante, and a great touch from him to put that one on plane.
Absolutely, and Hampshire having to struggle to deal with some of these, what seem like maybe not dangerous overhead balls because of the size. And that's something that the Blues can continue to exploit to lead to a scrummy type of goal.
Speak of the devil, Madden into Simmons. Say Bailey with a good effort, but it's right at Hempshaw. Right kind of power, needed to be aimed a little further to the left. Two encouraging chances back-to-back from the Blues here in the second half, and they own, to be honest with you, the only two quality chances that we've seen so far, unless you count Krachenkov being through on goal, and Yoder being forced to tactically foul him.
Well, St. Bailey had a lot of time to pick his spot there and ended up firing basically directly at the center of the goal. Really different from his strike last match.
That's a good cross in from Hobble. Put on plane, though, by Ackerman. Stanfield just a bit high. And that looked to me like Gallagher had to put a hand to it to send that one over the top.
Yeah, he tipped that one over the bar, and both goalkeepers now being asked to make some incredible saves to keep their teams deadlocked and give them that chance to steal the 3 points. 25 minutes remaining, and these teams just taking punches at each other at the moment.
Another substitution being prepped on the Lionsbridge sideline, and they will be made. Oh, no, perhaps not. I thought Christou was going to be coming off, but he's just getting some instructions. Preda and Paul still waiting on the Charlottesville line. And Marcelo Lopez getting set alongside them for Lionsbridge. Corner comes in for the visitors. Rising is Madden. And it will be goal kick Blues. Substitute stepping up, and this looks like it may be the moment, and here it is. Sloan and Vigilante will exit. Zomber Paul will take his place amongst the attack for the Blues. And Sloan exiting in favor of Sandor Preja. And Christian Hatley's going to exit. I apologize, I've been calling him Hartley this whole match. And Lopez enters as well. Simmons tries to charge onto that one. Good hold-up play from Lopez to allow Goldsworthy to charge in and clear that one.
Well, it's a bit interesting that this hasn't been a like-for-like change between Simmons and Paul, as Simmons remains out there. We'll see if that lends itself to more of a dual striker setup. But at the moment, Simmons seems to have dropped in a little bit deeper. And also Abdul Mateen on the bench could be, obviously, of course, a very solid option with the team leading 3 goals, including the last match out against Christos. And we'll see if this combination for Tommy DeNuzzo's men can bring home that goal that is eluding them so far tonight.
We're in the hydration break. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see Sulaiman Abdul Mateen make an appearance at some point in the next 23 minutes or so. But with Simmons dropping back, he does have that physical presence that is useful in midfield. But I feel as though if he drops too far, you're going to be losing a little bit of his physicality that you need on the end of some of these balls, and going up against these very, very physical defenders for Lionsbridge. You need him up there, and he will be up there, I think, for the most part, but you never know. We'll have to watch the way he is deployed in attack for the Blues. I think if any change is made towards the end of this match, we'll likely be seeing Simmons coming off for Abdul Mateen. It is a very similar build and physicality between the two of them that they share. Abdul Mateen just a little bit quicker and more creative, thus his leading the entire unit in goals. Dougal just about gets that one away from Rodriguez. Here's St. Bailey as we begin again. Madden. Over to Preja, too high. Ulrich will take this throw for Lionsbridge. Forward in the direction of Kuchenkov. That's going to ricochet out, and he'll have another go. This time over to Rodriguez. It falls to Hobble. Christou has Bennett with him, lays it off for him. Read by Say Bailey. Bennett, it's a good cross towards the back post, but it will get wide. Goal kick. Looks like despite the insistence of Ackerman Stanfield that had gone wide, off of one of the center backs, rather. We'll start again. Lionsbridge's turn to try to put pressure on the Charlottesville back line as they try to build out of it. Tempo up here from the Blues. Madden. Back to Dugald. Forward. Well to Say Bailey. Has a Corey and another teammate joining him who has also just gone down. Looked to be hit pretty hard. Looking to see who that was on the fullback position here. Taking that hit, and it was the captain, Dugald. So standing over at a Corey. Knocked in towards Madden. It's headed towards goal, but it gets away. And it will be goal kick, Lionsbridge. That final touch just about still eluding them as the Blues continue to put pressure and attack. Things have dried up for Lionsbridge here in the last few minutes.
Absolutely. And just generally, with this being still deadlocked, we're now 19 minutes remaining.
Ackerman Stanfield. Over to Mika Hobble. Low cross in the direction of Rodriguez. Instead, he lays it off for Kuchenkov. This is going to be tricky. Layoff. And Say Bailey's going to track that one down and make an inch-perfect tackle to force the throw.
Well, a good idea there, but the supporting run overlapping was just too far away and it stalls out. But as I was alluding to, as this game winds down and the result remains, it's just generally going to be, of course, a little bit scrappier. The spaces will not be as open as they once were for either side, and especially for the Blues. But potentially with Lionsbridge needing these 3 points, that could give Charlottesville a rout.
Ball falls to Kuchenkov, and Gallagher has to get in just before Rodriguez got a boot to him. And the referee's going to run in very quickly just to make sure that situation is diffused before it gets out of hand. Gallagher ready to rumble. 20 minutes remaining, just about. Is there a twist in this tale? For Charlottesville, if this result holds, it's job done. Lionsbridge will naturally feel very differently. This is 3 points that they desperately need if they can obtain them. Here's Zumber Paul making his presence known. That's knocked forward towards, Say Bailey, but only into the waiting hands of Hemshaw. Goldsworthy. Charges into some space. Gives to Kuchenkov. Lays it off towards Ackerman Stanfield, but a good intervention from Madden gives it up to Dugald, and a midfield collision. Yet another one. We have seen quite a few of these over the course of the match. That was Lopez going down, the substitute, after clattering into Dugald. Or probably a little bit of both, to be terribly honest with you.
And a
good moment of sportsmanship.
A bit of simulation there, it seemed, as far as the reaction goes. And Dugald winning the free kick despite all of that. And it seems like 3 more subs loading up for the Blues here, including Abdul Mateen.
Here we go. This is likely the last line change for the Blues. Martins, Koshel, and Abdul Mateen getting ready. But is there a twist before they come on? Here's Simmons under pressure from Ackerman, Stanfield, and Bennett. He delivers it off to Okori. Okori shoots just wide of the post. Oh, the go-ahead goal just about on for David Okori. Right spot, right power. Nothing doing, unfortunately. And now the change will be made. Yoder steps off. Koshel will come in. Abdul Mateen off for Jaden Say Bailey, and Zach Martins enters for Nick Simmons. Lionsbridge charging forward now. Already under some pressure thanks to the new additions in attack. This does find Krachenkov. Heavy challenge from Madden. Draws the whistle. Forward it goes. Konstantinos Christou. Layoff. Here's the cross. Looking for a hobble in the back post. And it was dealt with well by Preha. Not too far, though. Has to get some help to get it out of the box. And out of the box it goes. Only as far as Andrew Bennett. 75 minutes gone. Lionsbridge still with the pressure on here. That's knocked out towards Abdul Mateen. And Blues top scorer able to win the throw. Alex Koshel will equal some fresh legs down that left flank to help with the late additions made by Lionsbridge.
Really good turn there. And Okori sprung forward. Good recovery. Another opportunity to break there, but just a little bit of indecision from Okori.
There was a moment there, but yeah, you mentioned it as well off air. Okori sometimes does like to hang on to the ball a little too long, but don't they all? Martins playing a little tennis, trying to reach Okori, but that's a good intervention from Lopez. Bennett. Good cutback. Teammates lending a hand. Couldn't quite keep it in, though, unfortunately. 76 minutes gone. Koshel will take this throw. In it goes. Over to Martins. Breha looking for Abdul Mateen, but instead it finds the center back. And out it goes for a Blues throw. Preha. It's like he might be running into his own teammate up there, and luckily he'll have a chance to try again. This time he goes longer. He was looking for Martins. Martins thought he was held. Preha staying with it. Hobble fighting his way out of the Lionsbridge third. And Rodriguez getting really animated after that last whistle. It'll be a free kick, Charlottesville. Duga will stand over it. That's if play continues without a card getting thrown. Substitution made. Andrew Bennett will exit. And Mateus da Silva will enter. Duga will be standing over this free kick. And And Rodriguez is also going to exit, and that is a big loss for the attack, but they still have Krachenkov up front to watch out for. As we approach the 80-minute mark, Dougal with a nice delivery towards Hempshaw, but Hempshaw's going to go up with it and make the save. Down he goes. Expertly dealt with, but does appear to be a little bit of a hit that he took.
Yeah, he's shaken up from that collision with Madden, and he's been brave tonight, it has to be said, especially after giving up those couple of goals that were avoidable due to him staying on his line in the previous matchup on the set pieces, and he's been taking the brunt of this physicality so far.
Yeah, Hempshaw's made all the right reads in goal tonight. Probably the Vigilante shot the closest he came to conceding. But this has been a well-played game for both defenses. But if it holds, one side will leave happier than the other. And it is not hard to see which at this point. This is a good turn here from Paul. But Paul has it dispossessed. Madden. Dougal tries to get ahead. Nothing doing. Knocked forward towards J.C. Bailey, who has entered into the center back position. Here's Suleiman Abdul-Mateen. Into the box he goes. It is found to David Akori, but it's right at Hempshaw. Well dealt with once again by the Lionsbridge backline. Akori was absolutely unmarked at the back post.
Abdul-Mateen making an instant impact in this game, and Okori on the other end with a couple of chances he'll be begging to have back.
But what a turn at the other end by Krachenkov. It's a good shot. And Gallagher just about gets a fingertip to it, but it's too far. And the flag was up. An exceptional sequence in response to the unmarked chance from Akori. Denis Krachenkov showing his quality. Beautiful footwork from the second best scorer in this division right now. Came very close to getting what would be the goal of the season for his team at this point, as that's just a dreadful giveaway from Gallagher and net. And it may not be over here for Lionsbridge, as the away fans are really starting to get into it. We haven't heard the vuvuzela for several minutes now. It pierces the night sky now. They are sensing a moment here for the away team. This is going to be a long throw. Winds up and fires into the box. It finds Samuel Hall. But Madden able to head it away. And a terrible miscue from J.C. Bailey. Gallagher can't handle it, and in it goes. Well, you sense the magic coming from Lionsbridge, and there it was. Gonna have to take another look at it to see how that one was scored. It very well could be an own goal. But everybody patting each other on the back, and rightly so. That was a marvelously executed sequence in attack for Lionsbridge. Denis Krachenkov instrumental to it naturally, but it looked like it might have been Andrew Bennett who got the final touch. And confirmation that it was Krachenkov who gets the goal.
And just another lapse of judgment between the goalkeeper and the defender there. It seemed like Gallagher was eager to get to that, but the header back just put it in the wrong path. And Lionsbridge with enough bodies to pounce. And that could be all the difference in this matchup as they get that goal that has huge implications in the standings.
Well, you get a moment there for a goal scorer just as good as Krachenkov, number 6 on the season for him. When you are gift-wrapped a chance like that, there's no way on earth that he was going to miss it. In the 82nd minute, Lionsbridge finally able to take the lead. Konstantinos Christou, perhaps looking for more.
And we were talking about the decision to leave him on the bench, Kurchenkov, and it seems like Christopher Wiley's decision has paid off.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
Far as bringing him off of the bench, he's been very energetic, using his physicality, and just has that striker's instinct, of course, getting this goal after that scrum in the box.
Ackerman Stanfield took quite the impact from what was an excellent header from J.C. Bailey. Earns a free kick in the process. 84 minutes left. 84 minutes gone. Just about 6 minutes and a little bit of change for the Blues to salvage something from this match. But at this point, with such a well-played half of football for Lionsbridge, it will take a miracle for them to lose this one now. Especially this late on, such a deflating goal that probably felt like an own goal in the moment. I'm not sure if there's a way back through for the Blues. But for the sake of this match, I would love to be wrong. It's been an exciting one beginning to end. This is delivered inside towards the back post. Finds the side netting corner for Lionsbridge. And now the league's best goal-scoring side is smelling blood in the water. And you can hear it just below us in the press box. Stands starting to shake. It's quite the away contingent that has traveled down, or rather up here from Newport News to watch this one. And at the moment, they are looking like they will be going home happy. At the moment, though, Sulaiman Abdul Mateen and David Okori lurking towards midfield should the Blues find their way out of their own box. And they've just about done that. Martins tried to get away. Bennett got a foot in. Great passing here from Lionsbridge. This is Christou. Back to Hall. Cross coming in, looking for Kurchenkov. Nothing doing. Paul knocks it to his right, looking for Koshel. It falls instead to the danger man, Kurchenkov. Koshel is trying desperately to get a foot in. They're trying to pin him down in the corner. Wow, and they just about did that. Opportunity for a throw here for Lionsbridge. They're going to ready another long throw. I thought just for a moment I'd lay out and let the crowd do a little work for me because the atmosphere remains resplendent here in this stadium. 87 minutes have gone. 1-0 our score. Denis Kurchenkov, the man to get it. But the Blues still playing with a little bit of fight. And an egregious push there. I think Bennett was hoping he'd get away with it. No dice.
Well, I think he knew what he was doing there. Blues trying to get that break going and just a bit of a tactical foul to draw the card as these final few minutes tick down. Of course, this would be a massive result for Lionsbridge and pulling out all the stops to ensure that this game gets a little bit choppy and the Blues don't gain any late momentum.
Harry Lovett has joined the fray for Lionsbridge up at the left wing. Gallagher's going to take this free kick himself. Oh, and the delivery a little bit poor. Luckily, it didn't find any Lionsbridge feet. Say Bailey knocks it forward for Okori. Okori is able to draw the foul. Another free kick to come. Blues, at this point, will likely just be playing for 1 point. Koshel standing over it. Madden in the box. Say Bailey next to Koshel. Delivery is low. Gallagher will come out and deal with it. Looks for Madden. And Lopez trying to find his way around. That was a very physical fall. Could have gone either way for the referee. Dougal is making his case, but Lopez definitely made it seem like he had drawn the foul. And now Henshaw's just going to take the ball, make some gestures in the direction of the other referee on the far sideline. You can get an idea of what the players have thought about the match that these referees have called up to this point.
And the Blues have had a lot of controversial moments with the referees, controversial late game moments. And this match here providing that same type of drama as we are just seconds from stoppage time.
And Lovett took a little bit of a hit there. And I'm going to be honest with you at home that he's was making a meal out of an ankle twist as we head into stoppage time. Tempers are really high. Throw in to be taken. Preha delivers. But it's intercepted pretty quickly by Krachenkov. Madden has to get it away. And some real confusion there on the free kick. There was a late whistle. Free kick taken. Sam Roberson has entered the fray for the Blues. Roberson likes to take some space, and that is exactly what he'll do. He'll win the free kick.
And Lionsbridge just so eager to get these stoppages in play. The yellow cards are being handed out. Seems like every other minute as we get into these final 4 minutes of stoppage time. And the Blues with a deep free kick that has to have the right power on it.
Dougal getting some instruction from his coach just to make sure he's calling the right play. Say Bailey behind. Koshel and Martins on the sides. Everyone else crashing the box. Dougal looks to be in the direction of Roberson. It doesn't find him, but a crazy run back from Koshel. He turns the afterburners on to keep possession with the home side. J.C. Bailey doesn't see any options, so he gives it back to his keeper. Knocked long, looking for Madden. Well won by Lovett, but Martins is down, and another yellow card shown. That one in Lovett's direction. And it'll be another free kick here for Charlottesville. Yet again, no signal from the fourth official. So we do not actually know how much time is left. We just know that the whistle can blow any moment now. Free kick taken by Preha. It's delivered into the foot of Roberson. Martins tries to send it in. He only finds a Lionsbridge defender. It falls back to Preha. Preha towards the box again. It falls to Madden. Luke Madden with a good turn, but he can't find the foot. Trickles out. Corner, Charlottesville.
Gallagher creeping up. We'll see if he's given the go, and he is by Coach Denuzzo. So a bit of a similar sequence here as was in the match against Christos, but the roles reversed.
Gallagher joins the fray. He's not even able to get to the box in time before it gets shot on goal by Luke Madden. Henshaw able to get it away. Nobody's looking at their watches yet.
Madden's still down.
Madden remains down in the box after the impact. Lionsbridge ball. Oh, no, it'll be Charlottesville ball. No, they're going to say Lionsbridge free kick. Training staff's going to come out and take a look at Madden.
Yeah, and he applied some sort of wrap around his head at halftime, so must have taken some sort of knock and generated a lot of power on that header there. Wasn't able to beat the goalkeeper, but I think that has to do with why he's down at the moment with the contact there in the head area.
Yeah, this is difficult. This is would be a big loss for the final match of the season. If Madden is severely injured, bad enough if he has to come out of this one. And that is exactly what he will do. Blues down to 10 in the dying seconds. Lionsbridge on the edge of getting the most important 3 points of the season up to this point. They'll head to 20 points in the table. Won't be enough to get over the top. But that's a big loss. And what appears to be a heartbreaking end to the night for Charlottesville. It looked so good for a while. A correction issue, 21 points in the table, as Lionsbridge on 18 at the moment. Standing to receive 21. And the whistle will go. 21 points is theirs. Lionsbridge enters Charlottesville high and gets the job done by the skin of their teeth. And this one, like a few others up to this point in this season, but above all, Camille Gut, I think this one is going to sting the most. You feel like this at one point was a Blues victory written all over it. There was electricity, there was atmosphere, there was excellent play throughout the lineup for the home side, but it came down to one mistake, and pouncing on it was an expert striker in Denis Krychenkov.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, there have just been too many of those types of moments that have been the deciders as far as the widening gap in this division and why the Blues remain stuck in the middle of the division. Another moment like that tonight on the late goal, and they were very competitive, and going into this matchup the past season or so of this meeting, they had all the right to be confident after getting results against this side, even though they are basically one of the class of this division and the form may be differing from these two sides. They had every chance to go and get this win, and the quality at the end of the day just wasn't matching Lionsbridge.
Yep, Krychenkov getting the goal in minute 82. Luke Madden going off a little bit late. We'll have to wait until Saturday to tell you how that one turns out. But it gets away from the home side. An perfectly executed half of football by the visitors. They wait and they wait and they probe and they strike true. Denis Krychenkov is the man to score the winner. The Blues came close, but horseshoes and hand grenades, as they say. That's going to do it for us here tonight between Lionsbridge and Charlottesville. The visiting Lionsbridge FC of Newport News are your winners 1-0. Our next broadcast will be the final home match of the season for the Charlottesville Blues men's side. That'll come your way right here, Sports Engine Plus, this Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern against the Virginia Marauders, as the Blues will look to close out the season in style on Fan Appreciation Night. Join us then. Lots more action still to come in this season. Have a nice rest of your Wednesday. For Camille Gut, I've been Marshall Emmert. Thank you for watching USL2.